Good RPGs transport you to new worlds, allow you to craft your own stories, and get lost in the fantasy of it all. Great RPGs go further, blurring morality, intensifying consequences, and raising the stakes. So, I've explored the mature realms to bring you the top 11 best M-rated RPGs you need to play. Full reviews are linked in the description, so let's jump in. Kicking off this list with a Souls-like that dared to chart its own course. Code Vein, developed by Bandai Namco, is an anime-inspired action RPG that infuses the Souls-like formula with flashy combat, deep character customization, and a post-apocalyptic vampire narrative. Set in a dystopian world where vampiric beings known as revenants struggle to survive, you play as a silent protagonist who awakens with mysterious abilities. As you journey through the ruined world, you uncover secrets about the Great Collapse, the Queen's Rampage, and your own past. Unlike the overly cryptic stories in many Souls-likes, Code Vein puts the story front and center, with fully voiced cutscenes, extensive character interactions, and a cast of anime companions with their own tragic backstories. Combat is familiar but a bit faster and more flashy, with an emphasis on dodging, parrying, and managing stamina. You can wield a ton of weapons, from massive greatswords to nimble bayonets, each changing up the gameplay. But the blood code system is an absolute standout, and definitely not talked about enough. It allows you to swap between different character classes at any time, providing a level of flexibility rarely seen in the genre, and totally awesome. Similar to Dark Souls, the world design is packed with labyrinthine environments and hidden shortcuts. Another killer feature is the incredibly deep character customization. Oh man, there are tons of cosmetics, allowing you to make a character exactly as you want. So of course, I went with a badass waifu who's not putting up with any shit. And that's not to mention all of the options for weapons, skills, and blood veils that all change up the gameplay. Experimenting with different builds, swapping blood codes, and adjusting your stats and abilities on the fly never gets old. Code Vein is an incredible game with stylish combat, deep customization, and a more narrative-driven experience. If you dig anime visuals and action RPGs that are less punishing, Code Vein is a must-play. Moving on to one of the most profound games ever made. Nier Automata, developed by Platinum Games and directed by Yoko Taro, is an action RPG that blends fast-paced combat with deep philosophical storytelling. Set in a dystopian future where androids battle alien machines, the game delivers an unforgettable journey, filled with emotional depth, existential themes, and thoroughly engaging gameplay. You control 2B, a combat android, along her companion 9S, as they uncover the truth behind the conflict. What begins as a simple war between androids and machines quickly spirals into a deeply layered narrative about consciousness, free will, and the nature of existence. The game's multiple endings, each revealing new perspectives and hidden truths, encourage you to experience the story multiple times. True to Platinum Games' pedigree, the combat system is badass, fluid and stylish, blending hack-and-slash action with RPG mechanics. You can equip different weapons, dodge incoming attacks with precision, and use pod support units for ranged combat. And you're always on your toes, with constant changes to the gameplay, throwing in bullet hell segments and side-scrolling platforming. Yes, the combat is fast, responsive, and satisfying, but what sets it apart is how seamlessly it integrates into the story. Every battle, every enemy, and every choice feels purposeful, adding to the game's emotional weight. The world is desolate, yet hauntingly beautiful, with ruined cities, vast deserts, and overgrown landscapes, reinforcing the sense of loneliness. The soundtrack, composed by Keiichi Okabe, is one of the best in gaming, full stop. Few games explore philosophical themes as effectively as Nier Automata. As you progress, you're confronted with morally complex and thought-provoking questions that linger long after the game ends. Nier Automata is more than just a great action RPG. It's an emotional, thought-provoking experience that challenges the way games tell stories. It's one of the most unique and rewarding games of all time.
To me! Now!
The next games aren't anything like you'd expect. The Death End Request series, developed by Compile Heart, blends traditional turn-based RPG mechanics with visual novel storytelling, all wrapped in a dark, horror-infused narrative. Across its 3 main entries, Death End Request 2, and Death End Request Code Z, the series explores themes of death, fate, and the inevitability of suffering. The first game follows video game developer Sheena, who's trapped inside a corrupted MMORPG. The second game, while connected to the first, shifts focus to an eerie orphanage. And the most recent game, Code Z, explores themes of parallel universes. All 3 games excel at crafting an unsettling atmosphere, mixing sci-fi horror with gruesome body horror, existential dread, and brutal fates for its characters. The bad endings, called Death Ends in particular, are disturbingly detailed, reinforcing the stakes in ways that few RPGs dare to. The series' gameplay features turn-based combat with a unique twist. Characters move freely within an arena-like battlefield, launching enemies into one another like a pinball game to chain attacks. It's a great system that adds a fun, tactical layer to fights. These games feature a mix of Compile Heart's signature anime-style character designs with disturbing, glitch-inspired horror elements. The contrast between colorful characters and grotesque monsters works well, making these worlds feel unstable and corrupted. The second game in particular leans heavily into horror, with creepy town exploration and disturbing enemy designs that wouldn't feel out of place in a survival horror game. The Death End Request series is a unique blend of RPG, horror, and visual novel storytelling, delivering a compelling yet nightmarish experience. If you enjoy dark, psychological narratives with multiple endings, horror-infused RPGs, and don't mind a bit of Compile Heart's usual anime tropes mixed in, then the Death End Request series is a hidden gem worth exploring.
動かないで。ねえ。ねえ。はい。最高の気分。で本気？もっと欲しい？すぐに。
Few RPGs leave as lasting an impact as Persona 5. Developed by Atlus and released in 2017, with the Royal Edition in 2020, this stylish, turn-based RPG blends life simulation, dungeon crawling, and an unforgettable coming-of-age story. With its striking aesthetic, deep combat system, and a cast of characters that feels like lifelong friends, Persona 5 isn't just another JRPG. It's one of the genre's defining experiences. You play as a high school student falsely accused of a crime and placed on probation in Tokyo. Soon, you discover the ability to enter the metaverse, an alternate dimension shaped by people's distorted desires. As the leader of the Phantom Thieves, you and your friends take on corrupt figures by infiltrating their minds, forcing them to confess their sins. The game's turn-based combat is both stylish and strategic, proving turn-based combat can be just as action-packed as real-time. Using the One More system, you can exploit enemy weaknesses for extra turns, leading to devastating all-out attacks. The baton pass mechanic allows for seamless party coordination, adding another layer of depth. Collecting and fusing personas is incredibly addicting, encouraging experimentation and strategic planning. When not fighting, you balance a high school life simulator, choosing how to spend each day. Studying, working part-time, hanging out with friends, or deepening your confidant bonds. The time management system creates a consistent sense of meaningful choices, making every playthrough feel unique. And Persona 5 oozes style in every frame. It doesn't just look good, it exudes a confident flair that most RPGs could only dream of. Persona 5 isn't just a great RPG, it's a masterpiece. With a gripping story, unforgettable characters, and one of the most stylish presentations in gaming, it stands as one of the best JRPGs of all time. Next up is Baldur's Gate 3, a masterclass in RPG design developed by Larian Studios. Building on the legacy of Dungeons & Dragons and the classic Baldur's Gate series, this game delivers an unparalleled level of freedom, deep storytelling, and strategic turn-based combat. Whether you're a longtime fan of CRPGs or a newcomer, Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the most immersive role-playing experiences, full stop. Set in the Forgotten Realms, you've been infected by a mind flayer parasite, setting off a desperate quest to remove it before it transforms you into one of them. Along the way, you'll encounter a richly developed cast of companions, each with their own complex motivations, secrets, and potential romances. What makes Baldur's Gate 3 so special is the nearly limitless freedom of choice and consequence. Every decision, from dialogue choices to combat strategies, shape your relationships, the world, and the game's multiple branching endings. Larian Studios expertly translates Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set into the game, offering a deep tactical system. This is another amazing turn-based combat system that rewards creativity and strategic thinking. The options for tackling each situation are endless, like setting oil on fire or pushing enemies off cliffs to gain an edge. The sprawling world is filled with secrets, side quests, and rich lore. Every area is meticulously crafted, rewarding curiosity with hidden treasures, dangerous traps, and unexpected story moments. On top of all that, everything looks incredible, from detailed character models to breathtaking environments. Larian's use of motion capture and expressive facial animations brings every interaction to life. Baldur's Gate 3 is not just a great RPG, it's a genre-defining triumph, offering an unforgettable adventure that'll keep you coming back again and again. Okay, let's lighten things up a bit. Seven Pirates H, developed by Felistella and published by East Asia Soft, is a turn-based RPG that leans heavily into fanservice. Originally released on the PS Vita in Japan, the game received an enhanced version for Nintendo Switch, bringing its quirky characters, monster-catching mechanics, and risque themes to a wider audience. The game follows a young pirate who embarks on an adventure across the Monsupi Sea, alongside a crew of monster girls. Guided by the perverted otter-like creature Auden, she seeks legendary treasure while battling enemies and growing stronger. Quite literally, as the game's progression system revolves around, well, enhancing certain physical attributes of the characters. This story is lighthearted and doesn't take itself too seriously, with playful dialogue and plenty of innuendo. Once again, we have a solid turn-based combat system here. Battles feature a party of monster girls, each with unique abilities and skills. The combat is fairly simple, with standard attack, skill, and item commands. While it lacks the depth of larger RPGs, the mechanics are solid and enjoyable for those who appreciate classic turn-based gameplay. One of the game's standout mechanics is the booby training system, which allows you to enhance character stats through a not-so-minigame. Increasing bust size boosts attack, while reducing it enhances agility, just like in real life. Yeah, it's weird as hell, but totally fits the game's commitment to over-the-top fan service. The anime character designs are colorful and well animated, particularly during special attacks and interactions. 7 Pirates H is a niche RPG that caters to a very specific audience, those who enjoy fanservice-heavy games with lighthearted stories and simple turn-based combat. If you're looking for a serious RPG with deep world building, there are plenty others on this list. But if you're down for anime-style humor, quirky mechanics, and don't mind a bit of, well, this, 7 Pirates H delivers exactly what it promises. And let's get dark again with Dragon Age Origins. Released in 2009 by BioWare, Dragon Age Origins blends deep storytelling, tactical combat, and player-driven choices into an unforgettable fantasy experience. With its rich world building, compelling characters, and morally complex decisions, it remains one of the greatest Western RPGs of all time. Set in a grimdark world, the game casts you as a Grey Warden, one of the last defenders against an ancient evil known as the Blight. The game begins with a unique origin story based on your chosen race and background, influencing how the world perceives you and adding immense replayability. BioWare is known for creating memorable party members, and Dragon Age Origins delivers some of the best. From the sarcastic yet loyal Alistair to my favorite, the enigmatic witch Morrigan, each companion has their own motivations, opinions, and personal quests. Your choices shape their loyalty, and in some cases, their fate. And of course, you can build your relationships into romance or betrayals. The combat is a mix of real-time action and tactical strategy. You can pause the game at any moment to issue commands, making positioning and skill usage key to survival. Magic and abilities feel awesome, with spells like Fireball and Cone of Cold shaping the battlefield. If you like slower, more tactical combat, you're gonna love this system. One of the game's strongest aspects is its choice-driven narrative. Decisions made early on can have major repercussions, shaping alliances, determining who lives or dies, and altering the final battle. The game doesn't shy away from difficult moral dilemmas, forcing you to think beyond simple good versus evil decisions. Dragon Age Origins is a landmark RPG that remains compelling years later. It's the reason people were so excited and then so disappointed for Veilguard. Its deep storytelling, meaningful choices, and tactical combat make it one of BioWare's finest achievements, and a must-play for any RPG fan. When this next game launched in 2015, it set a new standard for open-world RPGs. Developed by CD Projekt Red, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a dark fantasy epic that blends layered storytelling, meaningful choices, and immersive exploration into one of the most celebrated games of all time. Years later, its deep world-building, engaging characters, and masterfully crafted quests still make it an essential experience for any RPG fan. You step into the boots of Geralt of Rivia, a legendary monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter Ciri, while navigating war-torn lands and the looming threat of the spectral Wild Hunt. The story is gripping, filled with political intrigue, morally complex decisions, and emotional payoffs that depend on your choices. The world is still one of the most immersive ever created, feeling lived in, with every town, ruin, and forest filled with details that reinforce its grim, Slavic-inspired fantasy setting. Where The Witcher 3 truly shines is in its quest design. Unlike many open-world RPGs where side quests feel like filler, nearly every mission here is meaningful, often leading to unexpected twists and difficult questions. Even a simple contract to slay a monster can evolve into a tragic story, forcing you to weigh Geralt's duty against his own ethics. Combat is fast and fluid, requiring you to balance swordplay, dodging, magic, called signs, and alchemy. Geralt can prepare for battles by brewing potions, crafting bombs, and applying oils to his weapons, making fights more tactical than they first appear. Beyond combat, you can explore, hunt monsters, craft gear, and even play a game or two of Gwent, a surprisingly addictive in-game card game that became so popular it spun off into its own game. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a masterpiece that redefined open-world RPGs. Whether you're playing for the first time or revisiting it, the journey of Geralt of Rivia is one that every RPG fan needs to experience. Next up are a series of RPGs that you'll want to get lost in. The Mary Skelter series, developed by Compile Heart and published by Idea Factory, is a unique blend of dark fairy tale themes and classic first-person dungeon-crawling RPG mechanics. Spanning multiple entries, Mary Skelter Nightmares, Mary Skelter 2, and Mary Skelter Finale, this series offers a gripping, horror-tinged narrative, deep customization, and challenging gameplay. Set in a twisted, nightmarish world, the Mary Skelter games follow a group of characters known as the Blood Maidens, which are girls based on fairy tales like Alice, Cinderella, and Snow White, who possess unique abilities tied to their corrupted blood. The story is surprisingly deep for a dungeon crawler, weaving psychological horror, mystery, and fairy tale influences into a captivating narrative. These games will feel familiar to fans of dungeon crawlers, where you explore grid-based labyrinths filled with traps, puzzles, and roaming enemies. A major twist is the nightmare chase mechanic, where indestructible foes stalk the party, forcing you to flee strategically rather than fight, creating tense moments that set the series apart. The combat is turn-based, with an emphasis on the blood splatter system. As Blood Maidens fight, they accumulate corruption, which can trigger powerful transformations known as Massacre Mode. However, if corruption reaches dangerous levels, they can enter Blood Skelter Mode, where they lose control and may attack allies. Managing this risk-reward mechanic adds a layer of depth to battles. The art style is striking, with vibrant character designs and eerie, unsettling dungeon environments. The creature designs, especially the grotesque nightmares, enhance the game's horror elements. The Mary Skelter series is a standout in the dungeon-crawling RPG genre, blending fairy tale horror with deep mechanics and a gripping, unsettling story. If you enjoy dungeon crawlers with psychological horror elements and deep customization, Mary Skelter is worth exploring. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is not just another RPG, it's a hauntingly beautiful masterpiece. Defying expectations from a small, unknown developer, this game has sold millions, and for good reason. Set in a surreal, Belle Epoque-inspired world, the story explores deep, often disturbing themes of grief, memory, and mortality. For 67 years, the city of Lumiere has been subjected to the Gommage, where people of a specific age vanish. You're part of Expedition 33, the latest attempt to stop this cycle. The narrative is instantly captivating, pulling you into a world where art and reality blur. What makes Clair Obscur stand out? First, its presentation is stunning. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, the world looks like a living painting, filled with vibrant colors and surreal architecture. And then there are the characters, who are nuanced and relatable, brought to life by exceptional voice acting, including industry heavyweights. The script is rich with symbolism, making every line meaningful. But the combat is revolutionary. It's turn-based, but also real-time, demanding strategy, timing, and watching for enemy tells. You'll dodge, parry, jump, and counter in a system that's both thrilling and deep. Add in weapon customization, Pictos, Luminas, and a rewarding progression system, and you have a combat system unlike any other. And the music! Over 8 hours of original tracks, ranging from orchestral to jazzy electronic, elevate every scene. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, it's a testament to what gaming should be. A passion project with artistry, deep gameplay, and an emotional story. It's why the game isn't just good, it's one of the best M-rated RPGs of all time. I recently put out a beefy review covering my thoughts in detail after completing the game 100%. I recommend you give it a look. We started this list with a Souls-like that dared to be different, but this game was such a revelation that it changed the very genre itself. From Software's Bloodborne is more than just another Souls game with a gothic horror coat of paint. It's an evolution of the genre, a relentless and exhilarating action RPG that trades careful, methodical combat for aggressive risk-reward gameplay. Released in 2015 as a PlayStation exclusive, Bloodborne remains one of the most beloved and influential games of its era, thanks to its masterful world design, haunting atmosphere, and fast-paced combat. Set in the decrepit city of Yharnam, Bloodborne throws you into a world plagued by a mysterious bloodborne disease.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
As a hunter, you set out to uncover the city's secrets, but what begins as a hunt for beasts soon spirals into a cosmic horror nightmare, filled with eldritch abominations, forbidden knowledge, and sanity-shattering revelations. Unlike Dark Souls, Bloodborne emphasizes speed and aggression. The combat encourages you to stay on the offensive, rewarding boldness with the rally mechanic, which allows you to regain lost health by attacking immediately after taking damage. Shields are nearly non-existent, replaced by quick-step dodges and firearms for parrying. Enemy designs are among From Software's best, with grotesque beasts, deranged townsfolk, and eldritch horrors lurking around every corner. The bosses are unforgettable, each delivering a brutal yet satisfying challenge. While Bloodborne is an action RPG, its horror elements are some of the most effective in gaming. The oppressive atmosphere, combined with a chilling soundtrack and disturbing enemy sound design, makes Bloodborne truly unsettling. Bloodborne is a masterpiece, a haunting, brutal, and exhilarating action RPG that delivers one of the most rewarding experiences in gaming. We have Bloodborne to thank for the Soulsborne genre, and while we desperately need a remaster, a PC port, a sequel, or all three, Bloodborne remains a must-play even years after its release. Well, there you have it, some of the best M-rated RPGs that you need to play. But I know there are plenty more, so what games did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit like and of course subscribe. And if you want great games that were trashed by critics, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.